Success is not a hobby, nor is it convenient. One of the things that people really don't understand about success is what was the platform, the foundation that they were raised in that will allow them to be successful, or will success be a real struggle and a difficulty in a person's life? I've often said many times that actually success itself is easy, and we're born to be a success, which I believe to be 100% true. People often come to me and they say, David, you say success is easy, and I'm just having a hell of a time with what I'm doing. I'm struggling. I've been stuck in the same place for years. How could this possibly be easy? And I said, well, I said success was easy. I didn't say change was easy. Problem that we all face in life when it comes to success really does come from the background and the environment in which we were raised, which needs to be taken into great consideration when we're thinking about forward movement, where it is that we actually want to go, who do we want to become, what is it that we actually want to do in life. Let me explain what I mean by that. One of the most important things about our childhood is the preparation or lack thereof as to how we're going to thrive or struggle as adults in our own world and during our lifetime. We're born into whatever situation we're born into. You have to ask yourself this question. What was your parents or the people that raised you, what was their view about life itself? Did it have anything to do with success? Was it about survival? Was it about just getting by? There is such a wide scope of the way children are raised because there's no qualification to become a parent. As long as you can have sex and carry a baby, you can become parent. There's no test that has to be passed, and yet you're responsible for a very little life. So the environment that we come from plays a big role. Now, let me give you an idea about something. I've been in business for 25 years, been studying for 30, and rarely is it that I have a young person come to me asking me how to help them become successful. It does happen, right? I've helped teenagers get close to $1 million, and I've also helped 20-somethings do the same thing. But in general, people usually find out about me and come to me when they're actually in some kind of a struggle, which usually shows up somewhere around their mid-30s. The foundation of the client base that I've worked with usually goes from in their 30s. I've had people come to me all the way in their 80s to start a brand new business. So why is it more young people don't come and say, hey, can you help me be successful? That's a great question. I wasn't thinking that when I was a young person. But I didn't yet have the experience to realize just how dysfunctional many of the things that I was taught about life actually were as far as what I wanted to achieve in life, because I had no experience. We spend virtually 20 years of our life under the authority of other people, having to ask consistent permission for everything that we do. And we're basically indoctrinated, here's the way of the world. But that's based on our parents' experience. And many of those experiences go back several generations, actually, and much of it doesn't change unless there's somebody bold enough with enough vision within the lineage of your family that said, hey, enough of this, I'm going to change it. A person could be born into a family where the people are mentally ill, they're toxic, they're extremely dysfunctional, maybe they're addicts, maybe they're very abusive in many different ways. That kid is absorbing everything that's going on. But the sad truth is that even along this spectrum, the average person is raising a child in an environment where they're really teaching them how to survive life, not how to massively succeed and live up to their full potential. They come to me and they say, hey, look, I don't want to live this way. I have a dream. I want something to change. I really want to go after something much bigger in my life. And they've come to that conclusion because they've tried everything that they know and they've been taught, and it does not work. It just causes more problems. But what they don't realize is just how much they have literally created their life with the subconscious idea about survival, and it's not prepared them for success. They're just on the edge of frustration, and now they want to change. Now, is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. But if you don't realize just how detrimental it can be to a person's success, then you don't know where to start the change. So most people approach it like, give me the secrets, right? Tell me all the secrets to success. What's the fast way? How do I make a quantum leap? Show me how to turn my annual income into a monthly income. And those are legitimate things that you could teach to any person. There's not anything that's really all that difficult about them. But then you start teaching them, and all of a sudden, they can't get out of their own way. It's not working for them, so to speak. But when you sit down and you have a conversation or you look closer into your life, What we really see the problems coming down to is their resistance to change, meaning that they have to become the person that can actually pull off those skill sets, learn those skill sets, master those skill sets, and become really good at being a business owner or an entrepreneur or whatever other direction they want to go that they see as successful for themselves. Let's take an average 35-year-old, and they want success. And you sit down and you explain to them that for 35 years, one of the things that they've done is they've created their entire life to be safe. That's from relationships to where they live, how they live, whether they have an education or they don't have an education, how much they've had a dream, if they even have started to have a dream, and the direction that they want to go in their life. Now, I woke up in my late 20s. I was about 27 years old when I really decided that I wanted to make a significant change. And I remember, it's kind of funny, at the time I thought I was old, like I was behind the 8 ball on this or something. And I found out pretty quick that I wasn't. But I, like everybody else, had made very significant decisions in my life. I decided to get married. I decided to have children at a very young age. I decided where I was going to live. I decided not to get an education very young, and found out that I was struggling. I had to start to begin to self-educate in my life, to start to learn new things and begin to master new skills. So I had to bring myself up to the level in which I could actually do successful activities in order to get those results. Now, I don't know where you are. Maybe this is resonating with you, maybe not. But if you've been stuck at all with success, you have to ask yourself, where are you resisting change in your life, and why? Why are you resisting change in your life? Generally, when we want to do something different, one of the things that we've been told our whole life about whatever it is that we're doing is that we actually need support, and that's really true. But if the people that you've surrounded yourself with from your past are great people, but they don't have the ability to support the new you that you want to become, because they don't have the same values. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I mean, maybe some people do have toxic people in their life, their family, or their past. If they don't have the same values, then the moment that you start to want to change and do something different, that becomes a threat to the people that just want to stay the same and stay safe. They don't want to live a life that has risk. They want a steady income coming in. They don't want massive change to show up. And then we make the mistake of thinking to ourselves, well, if I could just get there and I could start to do a little bit better, they'll come along. And chances are, and history shows, they don't, because they have a different set of values than you do. I'm not saying that you have to leave people or walk away or divorce your partner or anything like that. What I'm saying is that you have to understand that going after success requires that you change. You have to make a change. Everything is going to emanate from whatever that change is. When you feel like you're stuck or suffering or having a really rough time, the answer is always in the last place that you want to look. There's been many sayings about this over the years. Jordan Peterson often says, in the filth it will be found, right? Your truth, your answer is in the least place that you want to look, because generally those least places are the things that we've really created a delusion in our mind about, and it keeps us safe, which is a very dangerous thing, because you can't have safety and risk at the same time. The truth is that business owners have a reframed vision of risk, idea of risk, definition of risk in their mind, and it's not catastrophic. They know that they can learn, adapt, and grow when something goes wrong. In fact, you can't grow unless you're willing to make mistakes, or you will stay the same. You will stay exactly where you are for the rest of your life. I believe everybody is here to fulfill a purpose. I believe you have a purpose. I have a purpose. The purpose was created before we got here. Our job is to find out what that purpose is and to build it into the most amazing thing that we truly desire in our heart, and go out there and live it and share that purpose, whatever the benefits of it are, with other people so that they can learn and grow in their life. But when we run up against situations and circumstances and relationships that we've created in our life, see if this sounds familiar. One part of me wants to move forward. The other part of me doesn't want to lose what I've created from the past. And we're torn. We're literally split in half. When we're in that place, you can't possibly make the right decisions or grow the way that you need to grow in the desire that your heart is to move towards that dream, because you're always cutting yourself a little bit short based on what you're afraid to walk away from that's behind you, right? That you were raised with, that you've created in your life. So it takes real serious thought and consideration when you decide that you want to become successful. We call this the area of willingness, meaning that there's two things that you really have to know to embrace success. One is you have to begin to think, am I able? Am I actually able to become successful, to do the thing that I want to do, whatever it is that it might be? If you don't think you're able, you won't go any further, right? You'll be a wisher, a dreamer, but you'll never get past that stage. Once you begin to change the belief that you are able, because all human beings are able, right? You move to the second stage, the second question, the second decision. Am I willing? Well, am I willing what? Am I willing to become the person that I need to become in order to have do and have the thing that I want to have in life? That means you have to be willing to be, do, have, change, whatever's necessary in order to have the success that you want. The problem is you don't know what those things are. Now, none of us know what those things are. But had we had an environment that raised us in a way that supported the values and beliefs that tend to bend toward success, for those people, it's usually a bit easier. But when we don't have that, when we're raised middle class, working class, blue collar, it's a great thing. But you have to understand that the value set's very different for those individuals than it is for people that want to go off and really pave their own path in life. Because the underlying idea for those folks, for working class folks, is how to be safe, right? They want a job, they want to be paid, they just want to live their life the way that it is. They really don't want any risk. Their sense of adventure comes from their family, which is a great thing, or maybe sports, or doing other things that don't require they change as a person in order to experience it. A business person or a person who's following their dream really feels their purpose in life. They have a very different sense of adventure. They're willing to go out there and risk. They're willing to fall down, make mistakes, get up and start again. They're willing to go through the process that can be quite painful if a person is resisting it, where you make mistake after mistake after mistake as fast as you can so you can learn as fast as you can. See, you can't learn without making mistakes. And we get to this place and often are very taught in school itself is that to avoid mistakes. And we're shamed and humiliated for making mistakes instead of understanding and accepting that mistakes are 100% required for us to accomplish what we want. Where do you find yourself as you're listening to me talk about this? Where do you think you are, right? I often tell people when you're going after the success that you want and you find yourself stuck, the problem isn't on the outside of you. The problem is on the inside. What is it that you don't see, know, or are aware of inside of yourself? Now, you might be thinking, okay, David, that's very interesting. What do I do with it now? There is one simple answer. I'm not saying that it's easy, but there is one simple answer that will allow you to move through this. And that is start telling yourself the truth. The longer you lie to yourself about the situation that you're in, the longer that you lie to yourself about the things that you don't want to change that are absolutely required for you to change, to be, do, and have, to become the person that you want, the longer you will blame it on outside things that have nothing to do with your success. Success really is easy, and you were born to be a success. In order to bridge that gap over the difficulty and the struggle, you have to start telling yourself the truth so you can start making the clear decisions that need to be made in order to live the life that you want.